Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Super 80s Podcast Friend. We are a TV theme song explorer. We've got one mission. We want to analyze every single theme song from every single 1980s television show. We're going to look at it all. Dramas, soap operas, comedies, NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, all of it. We're not picky. We like it all, and we're looking forward to all of it, even the weird ones. So welcome aboard to the Super 80s Podcast Friend. My name is John.
Hi, John. I'm Ryan.
Hey, guys. I'm Peter.
And we are excited to be here. For those of you tuning in for the first time, if you want to find us outside of the podcasting realm, you can find us on social media. We've got a Facebook page. We've got an Instagram page. Those are both under Super 80s Podcast Friend. And you can also email us. Our Gmail address is super80spodcastfriend@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. We love reading your emails, sending us videos, whatever you got. Reach out and give us a holler. Guys, this is our 8th episode.
Wow. Snowman.
Tell me more. Snowman? You think an 8 looks like a snowman?
Yeah.
Without a
It's
head?
a little snowman. Snowman body.
Pete's with him. Pete's nodding. I'm outvoted. An 8's a snowman. Weird.
I realize a podcast nod a nod is as good as a wink in a podcast.
Pete's using his eye contact and nods. All right. Snowman episode. Hey, last week we had our first song reach the wall of shame. Our first 6 theme songs, although not winners with everybody, they all made it to the Wall of Fame. Last week, the Smurfs got 3 You're in Big Trouble, Mr. votes. Wow.
Well,
That might get some negative feedback, I feel like.
I don't know. I think if people actually listen to the song like we did, it's pretty easy vote, I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So we have the Smurfs. We like to start out with retractions because, as we've mentioned many times, we are absolutely not experts. So it's retraction time. Ready? Retraction time is here again. Snowman.
Perfect.
Pete's face when we sing is one of my favorite things. I have one retraction from the Smurfs, but does anybody else have one before I go?
I don't.
That's great.
No, thank you.
If Ryan ever has a retraction, it'll be magical. If Ryan ever has a retraction, we all have to chug a beer on the spot.
He might throw in a false fact at some point.
Just so we can chug a beer.
Just to force that hand.
Speaking of beers, we'll get to that in a second. But I just have one brief retraction. I was calling the composer of the Smurfs Hoyne. Turns out his name is Hoyt.
You had that wrong?
I did. And his last name, one more time.
Curtin.
And I was saying Kernton.
You were close enough.
So Hoyne Kernton is actually Hoyt Curtin. Thanks. I couldn't say it. I've been saying the word curtain my whole life. So that is retraction time. It's time to name our beer. I've mentioned this so many times. As much as we love our jobs, we wouldn't mind retiring. So we're hoping to get a big old sponsor so that we don't have to work anymore. So to do so, we're thinking beer might be our way. Ryan, what's in your glass?
I've got a Lagunitas Daytime.
All right. Now, Lagunitas is owned by a big corporate brewery called InBev, so that might be a good one for us. So Lagunitas, it's a great
beer.
The best.
Great company.
Pete?
New Glarus Moon Man.
Man, we love our New Glarus. I think we're feeling a little guilty. We are Wisconsinites, and last week all 3 of our beers were from the lovely state of Illinois. But as Wisconsinites, we felt a little bad. Pete's having a New Glarus Moon Man. I'm having a New Glarus seasonal beer. They're wonderful IPA. So 2 New Glaruses and a Lagunitas in our glasses. We still have not gotten the AI version of Ray Charles singing the Three's Company theme song. If you missed that, we'd love for somebody to do that listen to last week's episode if you need any details. Guys, anything to catch up on?
I think they'd also have to listen to the episode before that, too. So they knew who the wrong Ray Charles was.
Good point. Episodes 6 and 7 to get my Ray Charles reference. Episodes 6 and 7. Anything to report on?
Time
I get a burp and drink.
is the right time to knock on my door.
I see what you... That's a mashup.
Yeah.
This is the first Super 80s podcast friend mashup.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Compliments of Ryan. Anything to catch up on, guys? It's been a week.
No, well, Ryan and I had a theory, or we discussed a theory about what happened to Mama Smurf.
Yes.
If she had potentially... We don't know how Smurfs...
So just
Do
to
what
give a
they
little
do.
background, last week on the Smurfs, we mentioned how it was predominantly male.
Yes.
There was one person named Papa Smurf, and one of our listeners, Christine, asked what happened. Why is there no Mama Smurf? So,
Couple theories. One, Azrael the cat only eats girls.
seems legit.
The other theory about what happened to Mama Smurf is that she died giving birth to 700 eggs of Smurfs. And then they hatched out of Gargamel's brother's belly, which started his lifelong feud with the little blue creatures.
I love the idea of a Smurf laying eggs. That really...
It's as good as
In a
anything.
nest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes just as much sense as anything else on the show you can think of, so fight me.
All right, so either eaten alive by Azrael,
The women were, yes.
the women folk, or died in childbirth laying eggs to 700 Smurfs.
Possibly that, too.
Great stuff.
La 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 la.
La 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 la. Any other things to catch up on before we get to business on week 8 of the Super 80s podcast, friend?
I'm excited for Conky. I'm excited to hear what he's going to come up with this week.
New listeners, we have a robot. He's actually sitting right next to me. He's a neighborhood pal. He wheels his way in and out of our neighborhood. He brings chips to the young people. He brings beers to the adults. He sweeps our streets. He mows our lawns. He's a real magical guy. He used to belong to Pee Wee Herman, and you could find him on Pee Wee's Playhouse alongside Cowboy Curtis and the whole gang. Ryan was in the Valley in the Los Angeles area about a decade ago, dumpster diving, and he saw the remnants of Conky the robot, threw him in his pickup truck, and they drove. Just you and Conky drove cross country.
Cross country.
What the hell did you and that
It
robot
was a wild
talk
ride.
about?
I plugged him into my cigarette lighter and tried to get him to go the whole time. It was a wild ride.
You were driving a 72, I said pickup truck, but it was a Ranchero, right? An El
Correct.
Camino type vehicle?
Correct. Yeah.
Up-
Hot tub in the back.
What did you and a 1980s robot talk about for the 20 hours from driving from Los Angeles to the lovely state of Wisconsin?
We recapped every episode of Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Well, Conky's really happy to be here. When we decided to start this podcast, we asked Conky if he would be interested in getting just a little bit back into TV. He was a little jaded, being thrown in a dumpster and all. He kindly agreed, and he helps us pick our song every week. And we had a listener who has been with us for all 7 episodes mention a song that she liked. So we asked Conky if he'd think about it. We don't know if he's going to, so let's wake him up.
Ready to assist you. Pee-wee.
Morning, Conky.
What's today's secret word?
Today's secret word is facts of life.
Oh, all right. Well, that was what our listener had requested. So, little facts of life action. Now, just a quick aside. Has he ever stopped calling anyone Pee Wee?
No. R.I.P.
That's it.
We.
Everybody is Pee Wee. Now, when you picked him out of the dumpster, did he call you Pee Wee?
Yeah, I don't think he knows anybody. Doesn't know how to call anyone other than Pee Wee.
Kind of adorable.
Mhm.
Well, he's a great robot. Thank you, Conky. And I feel like I say that. Well, I didn't say this last week. I'm really excited. There are some good 80s theme songs, and there are some gold medal dynamite theme songs. And man, I'm pretty excited. I haven't heard this song in a long time, but I remember really, really liking it. So if you are listening for the first time because you like the Facts of Life and you're wondering when we're actually going to get to your favorite show, Here's how this show works. After Conky tells us our song of the week, we're going to share some personal memories of the Facts of Life. After that, one of us is going to hum the song for you. Following that, Engineer Pete's got some fast facts. He's going to tell us a little bit about the show, a little bit about the theme song, and then we dive in and we listen to it a couple of times and wrap it up. So, Pete, Ryan, memories of the 1980s classic, The Facts of Life.
I remember being on. I don't remember being super into it. I'm sure I watched, but it wasn't like my first choice. My sisters really liked it, so didn't have a lot of choices.
Right. Pete, you have 4 sisters?
5.
5 sisters. So Facts of Life is going to get some play in
Practically
that house.
lived it.
Practically lived it.
Heavy rotation.
You were the George Clooney to the rest of the gang. Awesome.
My memories, yes, watching it being on, not a show that I would have sought out necessarily, but it being on. And I feel like it's one of those shows that everybody knows a little bit about it.
It had some staying power.
Yeah, it had some I don't know that I ever knew anyone that was very fanatical about it, but I feel like everyone knows and has a little bit of recognition of that show.
I really liked this show. This was a staple in our house. We watched it like a lot of 80s families. We watched a lot of TV, and there wasn't a ton of choice, but I really liked this one. I had a crush on Blair, like a lot of
course he did.
10-year-olds in the early 1980s or mid-1980s. So I had a crush on Blair. I thought Natalie was funny. Tootie was funny. So I obviously, as you can hear, I still remember Joe, and Mrs. Garrett was super cool. So
did Joe have a motorcycle?
Yeah, she was a tough girl from the Bronx.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So I certainly remember watching this. I remember when they switched from the boarding school to, I think it was like a candy shop or something like that.
Candy shop?
Yeah, because the girls graduated from school, so they needed to keep the show going.
Okay.
So I think Mrs. Garrett opened a candy store.
Well, she was all heart.
We'll confirm later. So I watched it for many years. I don't know. I'm sure Pete will tell us how many years it was on, but I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but I certainly spent years watching the show when it was airing live.
Wow.
I don't remember it being in syndication a ton, which is a shame.
No, nor do I. And so how many, there were more than just the main girls at the house, correct?
There was, yeah, and I think Pete will probably tell us a little bit about some of the kind of other people who came in and out. And it's got kind of an interesting, I'm not a Turbo fan, but I know it's got a weird history, and season 1's kind of been an anomaly. So unless there's any other memories, maybe we can hand this over to Engineer Pete, who can school us a little bit on the Facts of Life.
Sure. I don't think I'm going to school you as much as you're hoping here. But the show aired from August of 79 to May of 88, so a good 9-year run. It was a spin-off of Different Strokes.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Edna, I believe, was the housekeeper of the Different Strokes family.
Oh, yeah.
And there was an episode called Private School where she was asked to do a favor, but then somehow was asked to stay on. So the plot revolves around Edna as the housekeeper of a dormitory at Eastland School, a private all-girls school in Peeksill, New York. I might be saying that wrong.
So I'm going to interrupt just for a second. A couple things here. If you listen to our DuckTales episode, is it fair to say that Edna Garrett is a house marm?
It's possible.
This might be the definition of house marm. Like if you look it up in the dictionary,
I tried.
They would show Mrs. Garrett, right? Wouldn't they?
But we're not doing retractions of retractions, so just...
So just 2 quick interruptions. So one, the second one is that I love a good spinoff, and there's a lot of good ones. I think sometimes I feel spinoffs are unfairly always seen as trash, but shows like The Facts of Life, shows like The Jeffersons are really good spinoffs.
Right.
So Mrs. Garrett starts out on Different Strokes and ends up getting a show of her own.
What's interesting about that to me is that I guess I don't ever feel like she was the main part of the show.
Right. I think she was a bit of a... I think the show was a bit of an ensemble, right? I think it was more than one person. But yeah, you're right. It's interesting. Now, Pete, Were any other of the Different Strokes cast going to join her? Was Dana Plato at one point going to also be part of this?
I think she did some cameos. I didn't get a whole lot of details on that.
Okay. So, but yeah, you're right, Ryan. The idea of Mrs. Garrett getting her own show seems like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But listeners, if you know anything about that, definitely give us a holler because we are interested. But sorry, I interrupted you a while back, Pete.
Nope, that's okay. So characters were, you already mentioned all of them. Blair, she was the rich girl. Is that accurate?
Yeah, like the rich, snooty, blonde girl.
Yes, and Tootie, played by Kim Fields.
Super funny.
Yep.
Natalie, the braces, pigtails.
Yeah, she was great too.
Comic relief.
Both of them were really funny.
And then Joe was the tomboy, right? That's accurate?
Absolutely.
And they were all living in a dormitory at a private girls'. This is high school level.
Yes.
This is weird.
So I believe there's a private school. Mrs. Garrett's home serves as a dormitory for 4 students.
Okay.
They wore uniforms. So, like, she was one of maybe a couple hundred house moms?
Maybe.
Wow.
Scattered throughout the upstate New York area.
And I believe the first season had a lot more characters, but that didn't test as well. So they whittled it down for season 2. And first season included Molly Ringwald.
Holy smokes. Talk about 80s crushes. Wow. Oh, man.
Molly Ringwald?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys?
Yeah.
Crushes on Molly Ringwald?
No,
Yeah.
not so much.
Okay. I did.
It probably worked out better for her that she didn't stick around Facts of Life.
And she had Pretty in Pink and
She had movies
Breakfast
to make.
Club, 16 Candles. Good stuff. So first season, a little bit different than what would come to be known. And I believe, and again, I'm not positive, Joe wasn't even there until maybe season 3, but I could be wrong. Not experts, guys.
That's possible. But somebody else who did not make it the full run was Edna Garrett.
Oh.
Played by Charlotte Rae at some point in her career. She decided she was done at the end of the 85-86 season. She wanted to do theater, I believe.
Cool.
But it wasn't a bad breakup, so they actually got her to come back for the first episode or 2 of the next season.
Kind of hand off
to
the
basically,
baton.
yes, I think in the show, the plot line, she got married, and her husband were going to go to Africa and do missionary work.
Wow.
Oh.
There you go.
And she was replaced by Cloris Leachman.
Interesting.
Oh, my.
And did the wheels pretty much fall off at that point? Do we know if it went a couple more seasons?
It went until it went 2 more seasons.
Okay. So not horribly off.
Yeah. Except I did not do any research on this candy shop thing, so I apologize. That is a mystifying fact that I wish I knew more about.
I will see if I can figure that out as we go today, because I don't know if I'm making that up or if there was a candy shop involved. Ryan, are you on the Wikipedia page right now?
And I'm not seeing anything about a candy shop.
Okay, while you guys do that, I'm going to give some facts about the song. The first season, the first lyrics were sung partly by the cast. Later lyrics, starting with "You Take the Good, You Take the Bad," were sung by Gloria Loring.
Who's that?
Well, the song was composed by Al Burton, Gloria Loring, and Loring's then husband, the one and only Alan Thicke.
Oh, boy.
Episode 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Alan Thicke back in the house. There's a lot of confusion in episode 2 about what Alan Thicke does or does not do with music. Here is the Canadian
and who
legend.
his kids are.
And who his kids are. Tal Bachman, not his son.
Alan Thicke is a regular Hoynt Curtin.
And Thicke and Loring also composed the theme song to Different Strokes.
Well, those are 2 great songs. Obviously, we haven't made our way to Different Strokes yet. Conky does what Conky does.
Yes.
But
Alan Thicke he could have just made a career out of writing TV theme songs.
For sure. That's impressive. Those are impressive facts right there, Peter.
okay, I did find it really quickly. By the way, Alan Thicke wrote this song. I'm really excited. Here we go. From Wikipedia. To keep the 4 girls under one roof after they graduated from high school, in season 5, Brave New World, Mrs. Garrett went into business for herself and opened a gourmet food venture, not a candy shop, named Edna's Edibles. The 4 girls, of course, came to live and work with Mrs. Garrett in the new refreshed space. So maybe not a candy shop, And if I can make, I feel like it's nice when we can connect things. In September of 85, NBC moved the 7th season of the series to its burgeoning Saturday night lineup at 8:30 as the lead-in for the new series, The Golden Girls.
You bet.
In an attempt to refresh the ratings workhorse, they also brought George Clooney into the mix.
Now,
Edna's edibles. Are we going to discuss that now?
I was just going to say, if she were still alive, she'd be making a ton of money on Edna's edibles right now.
That's that. In hindsight, that is interesting.
It would not even need to be
She just
cannabis related. It would just people just buy it online. Like, hey, Edna's edibles.
put her face on the cover. That's all you need.
If we could call Dr. Freud for a second, do you think I thought it was a candy shop because I remembered the name Edna's Edibles and I was picturing gummy bears?
No, but I think that it's possible.
Ryan just gives it a no. Fine. Pete, any other details about the show or the song or Edna's Edibles?
I'm all tapped out.
So just to confirm, because I'm excited, before we get to music, Mrs. Garrett, Blair, Tootie, Joe, Natalie. That's the main five.
I agree.
Man. I mentioned this on the Love Boat episode, not the Smurfs episode. I really do want to go back and watch these shows. We need to find some time to watch these programs.
We can barely get time to record these programs, John.
All right, fine. But am I the only one in this room who's interested in the facts of life?
Absolutely.
Right now?
When we're talking about these things, I want to watch it, but not so serious that I would actually commit real time to doing it.
That's a good point. I did mention at the beginning of this episode, once Conky revealed our song, I am super, super pumped. Alan Thicke can write a song. He and Hoyt, there's a lot of good songwriters out there.
He's a talented fellow.
Let's do this.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts.
So, weird sort of a zip in.
Is that's the legit beginning?
I think so. And then it just becomes a bouncy piano tune. Dun, 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 dun.
I do this from time to time, and this often backfires on us because it changes things. But could you start it over? Could I get it once more?
Yes.
We'll see if we get a spinning wheel.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
I got a little flack for comparing the DuckTales theme to the songwriting talents of Lennon and McCartney. And I accept that. Is anybody getting a little bit of an Elton John vibe with what's going on?
Yeah, there's a boogie.
I was going to say an 80s Dolly Parton without quite the vocal strength, but
Same vibe, right?
Well
kind of a
played.
honky-tonk swing.
Yeah.
A little bit of a Leon Russell, if you will. Maybe
Yeah.
Greg Allman.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Dolly Parton reference. It does feel a little bit like 9 to 5. It's something.
maybe that's the main connection.
Yeah.
Who's singing this version?
The wife of Alan Thicke, Gloria Loring.
Gloria. She's got a great voice. I like it.
It's no Dolly Parton, but does the job.
Give me some more Elton.
There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts.
So it's about to go to just a brilliant chorus. But could you just take us from the top, Ryan? What are the lyrics?
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
Now here's we got a little bit of a tongue twister here.
Yeah. It's a mouthful to sing this part.
Give it to us slow.
Well.
Yeah, they put the word when in there, and it just really throws everything for a loop.
I'm not sure that the lyrics that I have coincide with what we're hearing.
So we might put Ryan back to work. on finding, because there's something about a time you got to know it, got to show it, know it.
Correct.
Do you have that in front of you?
There were different versions of the song depending upon the season. So.
No, I don't have that.
The time you got to go, got to show it, got to know it.
All right, let me see.
Well, why don't you back it up?
Here we go.
Oh, he got him.
There's a time you got to go and show. You're growing now. You know about the facts of life.
That is a mouth singing wise. Could you give it to us one more time? There's a time you gotta.
There's a time you got to go and show.
You're growing.
You're growing now. You know about
the facts of life.
The facts of life.
That's great. That's a nice little. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but
yeah,
I like it. It's Smurfalicious.
Indeed.
Now we're about to get to. I mean, we all three of us nerds in this room, we love music, and I love what is about to happen here with everything about this song.
Facts of life when the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you find.
Holy, there's so much. We're gonna have to play that back, by the way.
I agree.
We were, if you guys obviously cannot see us, but we're
all bopping.
We're all bopping. We're moving. It makes you feel great.
It does. I give him credit for that, and I like the oohs in the background. Ooh.
Those background vocals
Yeah.
are subtle and perfect.
Yep.
So we get this kind of where the world and the oohing and eyeing.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool horn stuff. So Pete, if you can take us back.
When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams.
Again, people might give me a hard time here. I'm getting a Motown vibe on that bass line.
Yeah.
And they get ringers in these studio sessions, but the the bass is really great. Yeah. What do we have lyrically so far?
When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams.
Keep it coming, Pete.
And suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
So this is great musically because we got a verse and we got a chorus, and now we're going to get kind of this post-chorus thing. But what was that last line?
And suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
Ooh. And the horn accents.
Correct.
And now we're going to get this little post-chorus.
It takes a lot to get 'em right when you're learning the facts of life.
First of all, really great.
Yeah.
Vocally, she's doing some cool stuff. It's catchy. It takes a lot to get them right.
It does.
And it sets the no, I don't want to keep ripping on this poor Smurf song. But after you're hearing the Smurf song, you have zero idea what the hell the show's about. I feel like in a few short sentences, they make it very clear what's going on here.
Alan Thicke is a master storyteller.
He's a genius.
Yes.
I said it. He is the Elton John of theme songs.
Absolutely.
Learning the facts of life. Learning the facts of life.
Almost a little gospel-y at the end.
Absolutely.
In a really great way. Not in a pandering way, not in a cheesy way.
It's also pretty short.
Pete, what's our time count on that?
It's like 50-something seconds.
I could use another 500 seconds.
Yeah. So a lot of these songs, you get another 10, 15 seconds on their a minute 10. This is under a minute.
I'd like to hear Fish or somebody cover this and play it for an hour.
It's great. It's great.
Maybe if Fish comes to Alpine Valley next summer, they'll do an hour-long version of the Facts of Life theme song.
Think of they just get the call back. You're learning the facts of life.
They'll have a stand there at the show called Edna's Edibles at the Fish Show.
They should really get us as content creators because we've really just added bulk to their tour.
If you go to our T-shirt store for the Super 80s Podcast Friend, which does not yet exist, you will find an Edna's Edibles T-shirt option. It'll say Super 80s Podcast Friend and then some sort of Edna's Edibles reference.
Wonderful.
All right, we'll dial that in.
On that topic, though,
fish?
There was an episode, on Edna's Edibles, along the same lines. I don't know if you want to listen to this clip or not. It's about 1.5 minutes.
And I do want to give a shout out. One of our longtime listeners from New Holstein, Wisconsin, Kelly, sent us this clip. Speaking of Edna's Edibles, how long is it?
1:40.
Let's do I think within the first 30 seconds we'll get it. We're
Sure.
going to set the scene. Tootie and Natalie went to the local record shop.
Correct.
And
No good can come from that.
Mrs. Garrett thought they were going to come back with some records, some vinyl, and they didn't. Let's tune in.
Mrs. Garrett! You should see what we got at the record store. 3 bongs. I don't know that.
No.
The audio's a little tough.
For those of you who didn't hear, she didn't say bombs. She did say
Bongs.
And Mrs. Garrett responds with, I don't know that band.
That group. Are they punk rock?
No, it's not.
That's the best. This is probably 82, we'll say.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Punk rock had kind of made its mark on the United States in, say, 77, 78. And it's getting a pop culture reference. So they go to the record shop, come home with how many bongs?
3.
3 bongs. And Mrs. Garrett's wondering if she's talking about a punk rock band. Keep it going.
Not a musical group. Look here. Bong. 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 One for me, one for Natalie, and we brought one.
When you hear that on a Friday in college, you know your night is cooked.
One for you, one for me. And what's the last line?
One for you, too.
All right. And that's probably plenty. We can, obviously, there's going to be a lesson taught here, which is great, right? Facts of life is teach. But bong,
Bong,
bong.
bong.
Tootie's the best. Comes home from the record shop with 3 bongs. Oh, that is good stuff. Perfect timing. We got, this is good stuff.
It's strange that there are some outtakes of that episode that I saw when I saw that clip come in
from Kelly.
Yeah, so I was researching. I saw some outtakes, and one of the alternate versions was Mrs. Garrett smoking all 3 bongs in the closet.
It's hard to be a house. It's hard to be a house mom of 4 teenagers.
It's hard life.
So she had to rip some bong loads and listen to her Sex Pistols records. All right.
What is that, a punk music?
Must be a punk rock band. So what we do next, if you are tuning in for the first time, we are going to watch this clip. I'm excited to see Blair and everyone else. And we will just kind of point out what we see. I'm pretty sure, is this the season 4?
Season 4. Correct.
Okay, so we're going to, obviously, like a lot of TV shows, the theme song and the footage changed from year to year, but we are watching the season 4 theme song. So let's see what's out there. We'll talk to you about it.
You take the good.
Really, this almost set the stage for what would become mocked later.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you get a still of the house with a really cheesy font.
Correct.
Says the facts of life, and then the first picture.
Well, and it's like a classic Saturday Night Live motif, right? Like where again you have the house, and then the font just comes at you with the show's name on it. Just comes out of nowhere. It's great.
And then you see the 5 of them, Mrs.
Yep.
Garrett and the 4 girls in uniform, all wearing them a little differently, right? One's wearing it kind of like a rebel, Joe, and so on and so forth. Okay.
You take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
There's Charlotte Ray,
The
Mrs.
facts
Garrett.
of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about.
There's Blair, who again was the kind of the snotty know-it-all, not even know-it-all, just the real rich kid snotty girl.
Sure. She was intended to be the pretty one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He says intended to. Keep playing.
Are you questioning if she succeeded or not?
I'll leave that to the listener.
The facts of life, the facts of life. When the world
There's Kim Fields, that's
never
Tootie.
seems to be living
Natalie Kahn, I believe her name.
I have to tell you, I love their sweaters. If I could get myself a Facts of Life blue sweater, I would wear that today.
Listeners, if you're looking to get Ryan a Christmas present, we do accept gifts. He's looking for a, whatever the name of their school is, blue sweater.
Yeah, that looks very comfortable. It's got a nice patch on the...
Miss Garrett, she looks the part so perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. There's Mindy Cohn.
What's Joe doing?
I would guess fixing something because she was street smart.
Rebuilding a carburetor?
I was just going to say.
Taking care of the HVAC in the building.
You know who would be a good 80s couple would be Joe and then Nick from Family Ties. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Keaton. Good to see you. Good reference. Tootie's wearing headgear. If you want to watch this,
80s headgear.
80s headgear.
Very, very heavy.
There was no Invisalign in 1983. No. So Tootie's wearing some headgear. Blair has got
double strap.
Yeah.
Yes.
One up top and one.
Yeah.
Blair's got a hair dryer out that looks like one that you get with the Fisher Price set, and Joe looks just generally pissed off, which I think was her role. And Natalie's out of. There she is. They're all having a laugh and smiling.
Mrs. Garrett's not. I don't know. Oh, I see.
Paint fight?
This is the one scene that I always remember from the intro where it's like a paint fight or a mud fight. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know.
They did a lot of work around the house for Mrs. Garrett. Someone's got to pay the rent. Not Blair.
Oh.
And I think that was a scene like where they're frustrated with all the work they're putting in, and then they end up bonding over it. All right, ladies and gents, that was The Facts of Life, a show that I think all three of us legitimately would like to watch an episode of and revisit. It seems fun.
I'd spend 5 minutes with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'd spend a solid 22 minutes with it. So this is the time of the show where we vote. This is episode 8. 6 episodes so far have made the Wall of Fame. 1 has made the Wall of Shame. If it is a hit with us, it gets a I'll be back. If it is a thumbs down for us, it gets a you're in big trouble, mister. I'll start the voting this week because I kind of showed my hand already. Let's give this an I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'm going to say that I thought going into this that I would really dislike this.
Interesting.
I would really dislike it. I was convinced that I would. And listening to it, it completely turned around. So I'm giving it I'll be back.
Wow.
Do you feel like you didn't remember it correctly, or?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So you were
I'll give it an Arnold for sure.
I'll be back.
pleasantly surprised?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I don't often get surprised by these, but this one I am surprised.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we're going to go 3 for 3 here.
I'll be back.
That's wonderful news. For those of you keeping score, of our 8 shows, we've got 7 on the Wall of Fame. I don't know how many got full-on 3 for 3s. If any of you listeners would like to become the Super 80s podcast friend statistician, we'll give you a free T-shirt whenever we get T-shirts. Maybe. Actually, I don't know if I want to commit to that. We might give you a free T-shirt. All right. We usually end the show if there's any questions, hypotheticals or factual questions about the show or just anything in general. I don't have any listener questions this week. So, guys, any questions about the facts of life, hypothetical or otherwise?
Well, if you were going to have, if you were in high school, which of the ladies would you have dated?
I probably need to go back to my 10-year-old self and not disappoint him and say Blair, although she was probably a handful.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I was probably pretty awkward in high school, so I have to say none of them.
I was sort of kind of going that direction myself, and I was like, I'm not sure I could get any of those girls to go out with me.
If you had to. Again, like that's I need to make my 10-year-old self pleased with my answer.
Yeah. Well, I would probably Blair, but I don't know. I think that Tootie would probably be the most fun to hang out with.
She was cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Pete, question this week?
I'm drawing a blank.
Well, that's perfect because we are at 40 minutes and we don't mess around with you guys. We don't like to go super long with our episodes nor too brief. We find the sweet spot and for some magical reason we always kind of fall into it. So, with that being said, it has been a pleasure listening to and learning about the facts of life. Alan Thicke, the Elton John of TV theme writing, gave us a all-around sweep with the wall of fame. I almost said shame. It's this new Glarus beer. Sponsor us. Until next week, I am John.
I'm Ryan.
And I am Peter.
Thank you for tuning in to the Super 80s podcast, friend. We'll see you guys next week.